Do you have that one sketchbook that you just want to finish? You want to make progress, you want to fill it up, maybe just fill it up quickly, you just want it finished, and the blank pages are a little bit terrifying sometimes? If any of that sounds true, then this is the video for you. I've put together 5 really simple ideas to quickly fill your sketchbook and have fun whilst you're at it, so let's get going. For the first idea, we're going to be using a really simple technique to paint cute, fluffy animals. You can use watercolor, gouache or acrylic for this method, and today I'm going to be using watercolor. First, we're going to clip the page or tape it down so it doesn't warp too much. Then we're going to apply some water, so we're using the wet on wet technique. The paper shouldn't be dripping wet, it should just be a little bit shiny. If you've added a bit too much water, then just wait a second for the paper to absorb it. Then we're going to pick a colour and paint a big blob into the centre. Using the wet on wet technique in this way gives a lovely impression of fur. We're going to let that dry naturally, and once it's dry we're just going to go in and add some details. This doesn't need to be too intricate, and obviously it depends on the animal that you've chosen. You just want to add some eyes, maybe a nose, a mouth, and maybe some feet, just some little details to make it into an animal. The finished result is an adorable little fluffy animal that's literally taken you about 5 minutes to paint. For the second simple painting, we're going to be using watercolour to paint a beach. Honestly, it's the easiest kind of landscape you can do, especially following this method. First, you're going to want to tape or clip down the page because again, we're going to be using the wet on wet technique. You're only really going to need to mix 3 colours, a blue-grey for the sky, a blue-green for the sea, and a kind of yellow-brown for the sand. We're going to wet the paper first and then add the blue-grey for the sky. We're just going to blend that down and add the blue-green for the sea, and then blend it further down and add a little bit of that yellow mixture. You don't want to do too much mixing around the sand line because otherwise you'll just create green. Then we're going to grab a paper towel and dab a little bit into the sky just to remove some of that paint. This will give the illusion of clouds. Make sure that layer is completely dry, and now going into the second layer. Next we're going to add a bit more pigment to this blue-green mixture so we can go ahead and darken the sea. You're going to want to create a nice straight line where the sea is so that you can really see the horizon. Then blend that line down a bit to create a bit of a blur. Next we're going to be using the dry brush effect. You'll just want to dab your paintbrush slightly to remove the excess water. Then we're going to pick up that colour again and we're just going to add some lines. Add the lines at different angles, but make sure you leave enough gaps so that the underneath can be seen. We're then going to leave that to fully dry, and next you're going to want to grab something white. This could be paint or a gel pen. We're just going to use the white to loosely add some sea foam. It can help to look at reference photos at this stage. And that's the beach done. It's a really simple method that I actually use really quite regularly. It's super fast and can actually be really helpful for thumbnailing. Number 3 is a really simple one. You can use any medium for this idea. You're going to want to fill the page with lines or shapes, and this is so fun. Today I'm going to be filling the page with lines going in lots of different directions. You can do shapes, you can do so many different things with this method. This is really relaxing and actually quite therapeutic. If you're ever struggling with anxiety, this can be a really great method to try and calm yourself down. Just pop on a video, play some music and have fun. There's really no way you can go wrong with this method. You can use any colour for this technique, fill the page with any shape you like, and you'll find it's actually really calming. For number 4, we're going to be painting water in a really fun way, making it look like a pattern of ripples. I've seen this technique used in so many different mediums, but today I'm going to be using watercolour, which means we're going to be working from light to dark. First, we're going to mix a very watered down layer of paint. This colour needs to be really quite light because we're going to be building the layers on top of it. We're just going to create a nice flat wash here and then let it fully dry. For the second layer, you can really add any colour that you want. If you're going a bit more realistic, then you want to add like a blue-green. The second layer can be a little bit confusing to get your head round to begin with, but once you've got the hang of it, it's easy. We're going to be adding lots of blobs. They are round, they don't really have corners, and there's a line between each of them. I'm not gonna lie, this isn't the fastest way to fill a page, but it's really relaxing. Once the entire page is filled with blobs, we're gonna go ahead and let that dry. You can use a hairdryer at this stage if you want to speed it up. Going into the third layer now, we're gonna be using a slightly darker mixture. For the third layer, I want you to imagine the same kind of blobs. These blobs are going to go on top of the second layer, but not touch the first layer. This is pretty hard to explain, so hopefully you'll be able to get the hang of it by watching me now. This layer definitely takes longer, but you can really see the water develop now. With the third layer dry, you can leave it there. It looks really good, it looks like water, but if you want to go the extra mile, you can do a fourth layer. You can also add seafoam by adding white dots or splattering a bit of white paint on top. For the fifth idea, we're going to go back to simple and fast. I want you to create a simple line art. This could be anything, an animal, a portrait, a flower, even a pattern. You can use any medium for this, but there are some that you can use that will form a resist, so you can just add watercolor on top. Color pencils, oil pastels, masking fluid, fine liner, just create a really simple line art. Go ahead and wet the page and just add watercolor. You can use any color, you can create blooms, you can do whatever you want, just have fun. These were my 5 simple ideas to help fill your sketchbook. If you've tried any of these, please tag me on Instagram so that I can see. I'm at ChantelleArts. Please comment down below if you'd like to see any other videos like this. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please consider subscribing. Hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.